Felix for 121.
Great darts, double 14. Oh, what a
Game
finish.
shot in
Well,
the
that
first leg. Felix
is a real warning for Ward. Felix not just here to make up the numbers in Group A.
24.
I can see what he's left now. After 12, it's double 12, but it's in
Game
double
shot
12.
and
It's a win for
Harry
Ward for the
Ward.
second day on the spin. He just pipped Felix Schertz at the post. A 4-3 success for Big H in that one. That keeps him in contention for the big prize of winning Group A and getting through to finals. Now, he'll have work to do, may have to win all of his matches, but if he plays like that, who's to say that he can't? 4 out of 5 on the doubles, a 151 checkout, a couple of 180s, and a nice average of 91.5. Coming next, though, it is the man who won all of his games yesterday, Thibaut Tricol, who takes on Thomas.
151.
Treble 17. Oh, brilliant. This is how to shake him off.
Game
What
shot
a
in the
finish
third
that is
leg.
from Harry Ward. Well, we
Harry
saw
Ward.
the 1-2-1 from Schertz in the open. Double 10. In it
Game
goes.
shot and the match.
Thibaut Tricol
Thibaut
wins
Tricol.
4-0. Thomas Banks, well, just not getting started in his early morning match here on Wednesday at the Super Series. Thibaut Tricol does a job on Banks. 4-0. Had a couple of 180s in there as well. Missed a few doubles. He might have to sharpen up in that department. But in terms of the table, just one leg separating him and Willie Borland at the top. And they're going to play each other in 2 games' time. Before that, though, Nico Bloom faces Harry Ward. Ward,
13.
something to think about.
Double 18.
Game shot in the second
Yeah,
leg.
it's great finishing once
Harry
again from
Ward.
Harry Ward.
It's a bit careless, isn't it? Harry Ward may well take full advantage. He's survived a scare here. But he
Game
does
shot and
cross
the
the
match.
line, and Harry
Harry
Ward,
Ward.
in doing that, keeps himself in the race for first place. Pair of them having a little bit of a debrief there, and it does condemn Nico Bloom to Group C for the rest of the week. Ward will be in Group B at worst. Another good performance on the doubles from the pair of them, actually. 3 out of 4 Bloom, 4 out of 7 Ward, including that 113 checkout. He's hot on the heels of the top 2, Thibaut Tricol and Willie Borland, who are in action after the break.
Opportunities to go 2-1 up himself.
18 for tops. Oh,
Game
that
shot
will
the
do
fourth
very
leg.
nicely indeed,
Thibaut
with
Tricol.
Willie waiting on the exact same checkout.
It's
gone on.
86.
Similar position to the previous leg where Willie's waiting on a 2-darter of his own,
Game
but
shot the
Thibaut
fifth
once
leg.
again does the
Thibaut
business.
Tricol.
Really impressive stuff, this. Clutch finishing from the French touch, who now leads.
Completely changed, and someone will be clearly top again.
And that man may be Thibaut Tricol, who completes a
Game
hat-trick
shot
of
and the
mid-range
match.
finishes
Thibaut Tricol.
to rattle off final 3 legs in quick succession, and he's very happy about his performance. Willie Borland exits the stage rather sharply, but it was Thibaut Tricol who threw his dart sharply in that game. A fabulous turnaround from 2-1 behind, an average of 104.47 in that match for Tricol. He's hit 3 180s in it as well, 4 out of 10 on the doubles, and in the biggest match of this group so far, Thibaut Tricol produces the biggest performance of this group so far. He goes top of the table. Coming next, Felix Schertz takes on Thomas Banks. For me, 17 double 4 would be the shot for Banks on 25. He's got a bit more of the bed to aim at this time, but it's getting less and less.
Game
Finds
shot
what he
and
can
the
see
match.
and wins
Thomas
4-1.
Banks.
And he had his trials and tribulations in that game, particularly in that section of the board. But Banks gets a win against Schertz for the second day on the spin, beating him 4-1 and picking up his 3rd win of the week. Coming up after the break, Thibaut Tricol is looking to go 4 points clear at the top of the table if he can beat Nico Bloom. At the outer ring in this game for Nico Bloom, and that is bailing Tricol out. Double 18 himself, and he locates it, and that is the difference.
Thibaut Tricol.
Yeah, and that's what we've seen from Tricol. And
So
there,
it's Thibaut to throw
testament to what
first.
Chris was just saying. 2 from 13 for Blue.
To be required
Has
24.
benefited from those misstarts at double from his opponent. But Thibaut
Game
Tricol just
shot on the
carries on winning.
match. Thibaut
And he's
Tricol.
edging closer to finishing top of the table in Group A. Nico Bloom knows he's had his opportunities and he's had them in most of the matches against the top 3 in this group. Just hasn't been able to take them. There you see 2 out of 13 on the doubles in comparison to 50% strike rate from his opponent. And that's why Thibaut keeps getting the victories and Nico Bloom is going to be in Group C. Coming next, Harry Ward now has to win to stay in contention. He takes on Thomas Banks. And this one is tricky. Make it 20.
4.
Wow. Thomas
Thomas
Banks then
required
for back-to-back
24.
wins for the first time this week. Double 12.
Game shot on
And
the
Thomas
match.
Banks
Thomas
2
Banks.
points. A 4-2 success over Harry Ward that ends Big H's chances of making it to the top of the table. It's a second win for Banks against Ward this week and a second win on the spin today, despite an average of almost 10 points lower than his opponent. It's the doubling that caused the disaster for Ward. Just 2 out of 22 means he will be in Group B. It remains to be seen whether Willie Borland or Thibaut Tricol will top the table. Borland is in action next against Felix Schertz.
6.
Thibaut
Willie
Tricol,
required
but
70.
Schertz hasn't won since he beat Borland in the middle of the day on Monday. Lost 9 fixtures since then.
Game
Make it
shot
10.
on the match.
Willie Borland
Willie Borland.
wins 4-1, does his job, and puts the pressure on Thibaut Tricol at the top of the table, closes the gap with just a couple of points in that race to be the first to finals night. 4 out of 9 on the doubles. A really decent display to just ask the question of Thibaut Tricol, who is up next. He takes on Harry Ward.
Harry required 80.
Double 10. A parity in the early exchanges of this one. Double 5 now for Ward.
Game shot on the second.
Maybe just
leg.
puts the double trouble
Harry
behind
Ward.
him from the previous match because he'd been immaculate really until that game.
To be required 96.
Guess he knows. All he needs to do is hold his throw in this match. If he can hold every leg, he will
Game
win.
shot on
And
the
that goes
third
another
leg.
long way to...
Thibaut Tricol.
This game, that's 13, and then won all of his matches on finals night. He'd actually end up equaling that record, wouldn't he?
60. To be required 32.
Sounds easy.
Game
But it looks
shot
easy
on
as
the
far as
match.
Thibaut Tricol is
Thibaut
concerned.
Tricol.
And as far as this group is concerned, well, that could be as good as that. He restores that 4-point cushion over Willie Borland, who, of course, has 2 games left to play. One of them against Harry Ward. His next game is against Thomas Banks. He's going to have to win both of those and hope that Thibaut loses to the player at the bottom of the table to have any chance of turning it around. But coming next is the man at the foot of the field, Felix Schertz. He faces Nico Bloom.
Game shot on
and
the match.
it is Felix Schertz that
Felix
crosses the
Schertz.
line. 4-1 victor over Nico Bloom. Just under an 80 average there for Felix Schertz and similar numbers for Nico Bloom. But it is the man from Switzerland who does book some points, and Nico Bloom ends up still without a win throughout today. But big telling factor for me, that 1 from 11 on the doubles for Bloom, just the 9%. But join us next for another thrilling match, which will see Thomas Banks take on Willie Borland.
Work for it. He'll be 2 points behind and 2 legs behind.
Game shot
and that's
on
where
the
he
match.
is. Willie
Willie
Borland going into the
Borland.
final set of fixtures, 3 to come. But nothing he can do if Thibaut Tricol wins his next game. Borland plays Harry Ward in a couple of games' time. That 4-1 win puts him 2 points and 2 legs behind Thibaut Tricol, who can wrap up the group if he gets a better of Felix Schertz next.
Just not able to convert. But double 9 has been kind, but will he get a go?
Game shot on
No,
the
he won't.
fourth leg.
Ward
Harry
Is that close? Then I would always be looking to go to the right to maybe even bring it inside, so then you've got a clear shot at a different double.
180.
Brilliant. The pair of them exchange
180.
maximums. Great game to sign off their campaigns before doing battle again. Of course, they'll play each other 5 times this week, all told. Well, at least 5 times, of course. They could meet on Saturday. But Harry Ward could win this match.
137.
Finish.
Harry requires 16. Game shot and the match.
And he does.
Harry
Signs
Ward.
off with his best leg of the whole campaign. Does win 4-2 over Willie Borland, and just some small consolation there for Harry Ward. He knows he'll be back in Group B, as does Willie Borland. But you can see there the averages: 90.25 for Harry Ward, 84.5 for Willie Borland. But all academic, and it's Thibaut Tricol that tops the table. But do join us for the very last match of this Group A campaign as Nico Blum takes on Thomas Banks.
Nico, you requires 71.
Had some good examples here and in our previous guys. He's going bull. He's
Game
gone
shot
bull.
in the third leg.
He's gone 21
Nico Blum.
for the bullseye, and he's pulled it off. Nico Blum. There's one of them. The other's bounced out. It's still on.
68.
Well, he decided to lay up in the
You
end.
require 100.
Just one bull. Okay, 9 for tops. Double 10. And
Game
Bloom
shot and the
gets over the
match.
line in a much more conventional
Nico
fashion
Blum.
than he played for much of that match. He's got a penchant for the bullseye, but he's got the points at the end of that one. Bloom beats Banks 4-3, and in doing so finishes 4th in the Group A table. Banks with a 5th place finish after 2 wins today. His best return, it could have been 3. Promising signs for him, but the German Nico Blum signs off a Group A that was won by Thibaut Tricol with a victory. We will see him, Banks and Felix Schertz in Group C tomorrow.
Don't know about you, Laura, but I think Nico was going for the ball a couple of times in that match.
Yeah, there were some interesting options for setting up, but we did get the theme. We did wonder when he had 52 left earlier on, that was going to be probably a 2 bullseye shot, and I think that last effort there for bullseye, but it's all good fun. It's just obviously it's something that is part of his game, perhaps not necessarily quite to that extent, but yeah, it's been very entertaining to watch.
He actually said to our referee, Owen Binks, just as they were departing the stage, I just had to do it. But I suppose in those scenarios, do you almost have to use it, because you haven't been on a big stage for a while, do you sometimes have to do something just to like relieve that stress, relieve that tension?
Yeah, I mean, they're both going up there with every intent to win. But for Nico, he hadn't won at all throughout today. It felt like quite a big match for him personally going into Group C. So it's a way of keeping that buzz alive, that adrenaline. I mean, to be fair, that 71 checkout was sublime. It was, treble 7, straight in the bullseye. It was exactly what he was going for. It just eliminates if he does miss, then obviously the probability of him having another go, it declines. But got over the line in the end.
So that is as far as Nico Blum's days ended. This is how today finished off. All in all, 15 games come and gone. And as you can see, there's a lot of gold in terms of where the French touch is. Thibaut Tricol won 5 from 5 once again today. And Willie Borland tried his best, didn't he, just to keep him at bay, but in the end there was just no answering to him, was there?
No, not at all. And I guess for Thibaut, not so much the French touch, but the Modus touch with all that gold up there. But yeah, really, really impressive from him. And what I liked as well was the fact that he just was able to up his levels when he needed to. It wasn't the strongest in terms of averages and performance with the win over Thomas Banks, but 4-0. But this was the match for me that kind of just started to make the table very definitive. That 4-2 win, but 104 average, and you could see what it meant to him.
And then from that point onwards, it felt like there was only one winner. He gets the better of Nico Blum, and then you feel like the possession's just beginning to run into town.
Yeah, and it was then totally in Thibaut Tricol's hands. It's down to him being beaten by other people, and it just never looked likely. He never really gave anyone any real opportunities, and when he was presented them himself, he just knew how to take them.
That double 10 sealing his place into Saturday night's final. And I was talking to Thibaut up here on the balcony because we've seen what he's done in the PDC, whether it be the Challenge Tour or the World Cup. We've seen him make a Lakeside final last year as well, but hasn't quite clicked yet for him here. But the way he's playing, if he can keep that go and keep himself going over the next couple of days, he's going to be a big contender on Saturday.
Yeah, I think we always have quite high expectations. As you say, he's made world finals. We've seen him at the World Cup. Perhaps we would have expected him maybe to push on a little bit more, but he has had a really good year. He's made a very strong start on the Challenge Tour. Kind of dropped off a bit, but that was pretty much just due to the dominance of Barry Van Peer on the Challenge Tour. But what I've seen here from him has been, let's just ignore the first 2 games. You know, he's had 13 consecutive wins, and you know, he's just looked very strong, very competitive.
If you're really balling, what are you thinking as you head back to your hotel room this evening?
Yeah, disappointed, and probably like, why did you do it on my birthday, if I'm honest?
Yeah.
But, you know, other than that, you know, it's not the gift he was hoping for. But disappointed, probably, because I would have been, you know, from Willie's perspective, he was top of the table for two consecutive days and just slipped away from him at the end. But you have to kind of maybe take a step back and just really credit Thibaut for just the performances he put in.
Well, let's hope Thibaut bought him one of those caterpillar cakes as a little consolation present. Well, let's have a look and see what the table looks like following the conclusion of Group A. As you can see, Thibaut Cole lost his first 2 matches, but then won the subsequent 13 to run out a 4-point victor from Willie Borland in second. Harry Ward, 3rd place on 18 points. And I just get the sense who Harry is. When he clicks it all together, he is going to be dangerous for anybody in this field.
Yeah, we've seen amazing scoring phases, amazing setup phases, and then amazing finishing phases. But what hasn't really happened consistently for Harry is that they all come together at the same time. Did very well to beat Willie Borland right there at the end, but probably just draw a line under this kind of stage of the Modus Super Series, take it into Group B, because Group B, there's 3 players that go through out of 5, and he should fancy his chances.
Well, the 3 players dropping into Group C, whose chances do you fancy the best of getting into Saturday?
I still think Nico. I think out of all of them, you know, from Group A going into there, he's got a really, really strong chance. But, you know, Jeff Murray, an ADC qualifier, Keelan Kay, Charlie Large, only 2 go through from that group. And, you know, what we saw from Thomas Banks at the end, it's very difficult. I'm very much sitting on the fence, as I probably normally do.
If you're going to sit on the fence on Group C, Group B is even more fence-sitting, isn't it, when you've got Jared Cole and the likes in there?
Yeah, we were talking about it in commentary. I do see Borland and Harry Ward going through in that group, which then just leaves the very difficult question of who won't be going through. We've got Rob Grundy back, obviously off the back of Champions Week. So if he can get over that disappointment and bring his game here, I think he does go through. But Jared Cole again, and then a last-minute replacement with Danny Smith. So yeah, it's not easy, but I see the 2 from Group A going through.
With Rob Grundy, can it be a case of one or the other? Because he played last week, came so close, could it even be a case of there's a hangover from there? Or actually, he wants to get straight back on the horse straight away and he wants to just get back straight into action? Yeah,
again, could work either way for him. Obviously, he still should be very pleased with the progress that he made here at Champions Week. You look at the field for Champions Week and to get that far in, but obviously just, you know, I think that very last day just didn't go his way, unfortunately. So, yeah, I think it's a case of getting back on the horse, because ultimately got no choice, because that's the way the scheduling went with the ADC. So good to have him back, and hopefully he can kind of right a few wrongs from last week.
Well, you're departing us after today's action, so I'm going to be really cruel and ask that question that nobody likes to be asked. Have you got a winner?
Yeah, Thibaut, I do. I think I've really enjoyed, as long as he does the right things over the next couple of days, maybe gets in a bit of practice and a bit of rest, I'm going to go for Thibaut, and we're going to see that record broke or matched of Daryl Pilgrim's for consecutive wins.
Well, Laura, it's been a pleasure working with you the last couple of days. Enjoy Wolverhampton, enjoy the Grand Slam. We shall see you tomorrow from 1 o'clock. Don't forget that we begin our transmission on the YouTube channel and we go live on Sporty Stuff TV from 2:30. Note the earlier time of 2:30 when we go live there. But as far as Group A is concerned, well, Thibaut Cole, the French touch, well, he had the Modus touch. Ooh la la.